Oh,
Now,
no.
Okay, call the meeting to order. Any agenda additions? I have one. Security cameras for office, Main Street and shop.
we're under new business.
Yep.
So 9.10,
9:10.
security cameras.
Anybody else have any additions? Somebody like to adopt the agenda with additions as amended? Larry, all in favor? You gotta raise a hand, Mike, if you're in favor. Thank you. Oh, carried. So, new counselor, welcome to Mike Worthington. As our new counselor.
Welcome.
Everybody.
Welcome forward. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So you're aware of committees that we are on?
Yes.
So you're gonna have a little discussion about committees, I guess.
And Mike did have his signature commission for oath.
Okay.
Okay, so I go on file. Did you have a chance to review the code of conduct?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I thought maybe what we do is just go around, if nothing's changed, but now Mike has seen it, so I thought maybe we could all sign it again.
Okay.
And then we'll, if this is the updated one, we always do this
Doesn't
at
matter which one we
our
do.
organizational meeting, it's gonna come around the same. 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
But,
You're close.
no, they're off.
They're never on time.
Is that the fire department?
Yeah.
Pager test.
Oh,
So you wanted to talk about committees. You got,
Yeah, I got the sheet, you have a sheet, everybody has
Yeah.
one. So,
that's yours. Right?
um,
That's yours.
so you see where everything is splashed out in red. That is the spots that would be filled. Larry has taken over as counselor or,
For the terminal waste.
yeah, so
Yeah.
now we would need an alternate. And then, alternate for Palliser. This is just temporary till October again, right? So,
yeah,
Which one is Palliser?
and then it might not be a bad idea if Mike just kind of, if we just kind of send him to certain meetings,
Well,
like every
especially-
month, send him with somebody to another meeting and then. so we
especially
can-
the ones that he's gonna be alternate for, or.
Exactly.
I mean, if he's gonna take over for any of the main, then, you know, if Larry's the alternate or
Mhm.
we're going right now, then if
Right.
he's gonna take over the main, then maybe Larry can
Yeah.
still go with him, right?
Yep.
You know
So
what
you
I'm
can
saying?
take over some, like, the
Well,
alternates and
the
then.
drum heller, I think Mike should just be an alternate on that.
Mhm.
Would you be all right with that? You bet.
So should we ask him though, daytime, nighttime,
Oh,
or
yeah.
daytime meetings? Can you make
Oh, yeah.
daytime meetings?
Most of the time. Mondays are tough, but other than that.
That's, the only one that's during the day is Drumheller.
Well,
Yeah.
Palace.
And that's.
Palliser once a year.
Which one is Palliser?
CRMS.
Second one down.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
That's usually in Hannah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's more than one person goes from here. Yvette goes.
So we can,
So,
Do you want me to alternate on that?
yep,
sure.
sure. Like I said, I think what we'll do is, between now and October is you can go with one counselor to like a different meeting at different organized board meetings and then just get a feel for it, right?
Yeah, the only one that I'm gonna have trouble with me is Wheatland Housing.
Yeah, but,
He can come and sit back.
Yeah. he's
Or
not-
he can zoom in also and
Yeah.
watch, right? So
There
we
you
have
go.
the links.
Yeah.
If he doesn't wanna go over and sit there for 4 hours.
That's fine, too. The other one was the ramp, as the alternate.
Got me on that one too? Maybe as well. Okay.
So he's aware,
That's only
where he gets paid to go.
maybe
Yeah.
2 or 3 times a year.
Oh, okay.
And then we need 2 members on the ICF, so, that could be,
Got me there too?
Yeah. And though that one, we can't be on.
No,
because we're on,
Oh, that's the SDAB.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
bottom one.
So yeah, okay, but
We
he has
can-
to do the training for the SDAB.
It's not hard.
No,
You want me to do the training and then be on there?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll get going on those.
We need a
So
motion to-
alternate on Drumheller Waste, alternate on Palliser,
Yeah.
alternate on Rev.
Yeah.
And ICF, is that a member or alternate?
That's a member, because there's supposed to be two.
And then SDAB, same thing? Member
Yeah. The member
After the
was
training.
trained.
after training.
after training, yeah.
So we'll need a motion to put
Um,
Mike on all those boards, I guess.
I move that we appoint Councillor Mike Worthington to the following boards as presented.
All in favor?
That's-
Carried.
And we'll send out notification to all the different boards of the changes.
Public Works and Office Monthly Report.
Yeah. Okay, so. We've been a little bit too busy this week. So just to let you know, the Kubota tractor,
Oh, boy.
the four-wheel drive wasn't working. So it was out for about a week. The parts had to be ordered. So that's unfortunately when we were getting a lot of complaints on Facebook on.
That's the
roads
big
and stuff.
tractor.
The big tractor, yeah. So it had to be, parts had to be ordered. It's all fixed. It's back. Cost us just under $4,000 to fix.
How much?
4,000. Yeah. All right, so, and again, the complaints was the roads and stuff, and people were on the sidewalks, and they got on there and said, you know, sidewalks are homeowners' responsibilities, so get out there and do it. But the roads were, I mean, we were watching them, but, you know, I mean, it was not great, but not bad either, right? Just it melt, get slushy, and get ruddy, and, yeah. So for those of you that don't know, the shop was broken into on Monday morning at 2 a.m. Theft of tools, hand tools mostly. Larger items was just the pressure washer and the,
No, not the odds.
not the hot seat, no. This is a smaller pressure washer. What was the other one that his miter saw, that they took his miter saw.
Is that Brian's?
No.
Oh,
Well,
just, yeah.
Don't want to
It
use.
says it's his, nobody else uses it. It's his, the miter saw, and just a lot of hand tools. Chainsaw,
Pruning.
yeah,
So essentially
Tree
anything that you
trimmer.
could sell at a pawn shop.
It looked at all the, or the weed whackers on the wall and didn't take them.
no. All right, so there was 3 intruders. They entered on the south side of the man door of the shop. So of course that has to be fixed now. Insurance, we'll discuss it. Well, I guess we should have added that to the agenda. Insurance wise, the deductible is $1,000. We already have a list that at MSC Insurance for $20,500 for small tools, stuff like that. And the pressure washer is actually listed as an item, so it will be replaced. Right, so just need a, when it come out of reports, I guess, a motion to replace existing, you know, tools that are required now, because it's got no drills or anything like that, so.
Do we have to make a motion if insurance is going to be paying for it?
Well, we haven't got a budget yet, so if you guys can just pre-approve to spend the money, because I only got a $5,000 limit. He might have, you know, it's not gonna be over 5,000, well, 5,000 or 6,000
You'd be
altogether, but
surprised
he's
when you
gonna
start
be,
replacing chainsaws
yeah,
and.
oh, yeah, totally, so.
So that can come from-
So it's just easier to have a motion, and then we don't have to worry about it.
And I think that we should have the list drawn up first, so we see what we need.
We have a list drawn up, but I don't think I need to come to council
Just to replace.
to
what we
replace
have.
what we've already had.
Okay.
So, because that's what they're saying, you're gonna be replacing what you're
Yeah, it's not
listing
gonna,
as
it's
missing.
gonna cost us $1,000 to replace them now, so.
Yeah, deductible's 1,000, yeah.
So question, just curiosity, the insurance, is it replacement value or depreciated value?
No, it'd be replacement value. I
Okay.
believe. Yeah. Because we're gonna replace what we already had, so.
Yeah, I know, I've had issues with it before, though, is
Okay.
they say, well, that pressure washer is 5 years old, therefore it's worth $500 rather than the 2,500 to buy a new one, right?
Yeah,
So they look at the appraised value or the replacement value.
well, I'll inquire more, but
Okay.
yeah.
Who's the insurance policy with?
AMSC.
Most of these tools you don't even need till summer, sounds like.
Some of them, like chainsaws and stuff like that, so, but there's a lot of his smaller hand
Hand tools like
tools.
socket sets, all that kind of
All
stuff.
that stuff, yeah.
Was
all
taken.
gone. Yeah,
So I mean, if he's working on equipment, getting ready for spring, which is what should be happening about now, right? Oil changes.
Yeah,
service, All that stuff is gonna need this.
yeah.
Does this raise a question about, like, as we replace this stuff, should we also be looking into putting more security within the shop, like locks? Oh, it's on the
That's
garage.
what I'm
Right
like.
terms, yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Okay.
that's what we do.
forgot to look ahead.
Okay, so other
Okay.
than that, so we've been just kind of busy with that. Brian did spend yesterday taking the insurance guy around in the buildings to assess all our buildings for better value. Assessment values. Okay, in the office, so the water line repair didn't end up being as bad as we anticipated. Originally, we thought we were gonna have to dig out all the concrete, redirect the water line and everything. Only ended up costing us $10,600.
That's for the library?
Yeah.
And the
Plus the
village is
sidewalk.
covering all that, right?
The cost of the expense is on the library
Mhm.
property, so it would be the library's expense.
Aren't they a lessor? Don't they rent the property?
They lease the property.
It's no different than if the arena.
Does the village own the land?
The village owns the land, the
Owns the
library
land.
leases it.
Well,
Yes,
according to the MGA, the owner of the land is responsible for the maintenance and put the line in
yeah,
and maintaining it.
and the lease
So
agreement,
why is that?
the lease agreement comes back onto the leasee is responsible for all the maintenance on the property.
Can we review that lease?
The lease can be renewed,
Or reviewed?
yeah,
You have to be careful though, because you gotta think that we have, so. The arena, the curling rink. I mean, we get into having to fix. On the property line of what we lease, it's gonna cost us 20 grand. I mean, it's. The church is a nonprofit and they had to pay for it themselves because it was on their property.
Yeah, I just think we
Right,
should
so it's-
review the lease.
Review.
Because I know if I was the lessor, if I was leasing something, I would be reviewing it. And for 10 grand, I might go get a $500 couple hours with a lawyer. So I think we should review it. That's all.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, if we can, like, that would be something that they would probably want to do as well, because the thing is if it's in the lease that it says that they are like, and it's stipulated that they are responsible for all maintenance, then that's the contract that we're in with these entities.
Mhm.
If it doesn't say that, then, or when we renegotiate the leases, that might be something that these entities in the village would want to stipulate.
Right.
We haven't discussed anything about over there at the last meeting,
Mhm.
but they're fixing to fight it.
Okay,
That's
so.
nice.
Well, you're gonna have to look at the lease
You know,
and see what the lease
uh,
is. I mean, if the lease is
yeah,
signed
so
and
they're-
it states that,
They're waiting for us to decide what's going on here, and then when it's presented,
well,
then there might be some issues.
You're gonna have to
That's all
look at
I'll
the
say
lease.
about that.
Good time to look at our lease.
Yeah.
And make sure that what we're asking
Yeah.
fits with what the parameters the lease is saying.
Yeah, there's no point in fighting it without first reading the lease and understanding it.
Yeah.
And then bare minimum, even if it says repairs and maintenance, does a line break even fall into that category, right? Like it should be.
that would be something to talk municipal affairs about, I'm
His
sure.
insurance covers that as normal wear and tear. Yeah, it's not covered.
Yeah, I
by
mean-
Insurance.
I have insurance
Mhm.
out on my water line out to I paid for that. So I mean, anybody can pay for insurance and cover that.
Do we not have insurance or does the library not have insurance?
I don't know.
We have insurance, but it does not cover
No, but that
normal wear
not,
and tear.
oh, we have insurance here, but when I have, if Grant Christensen had insurance when his broke.
Yeah.
And his insurance paid for it.
Yeah.
So why is the village is not?
Yeah,
Normal wear and tear.
they don't, it's wear and tear, gradual
Different insurance
deterioration,
company.
not covered by insurance. Yeah.
Different insurance company.
Yeah,
Well, you better look at that lease and see
Yeah.
what it says.
okay.
Will
So-
we be able to see as counselors see the lease?
Oh,
Can we
yeah,
Send that
yeah.
around?
Actually, it was here a couple months ago.
And
Yeah.
we might as well read the insurance policy
Yeah.
too, because see what the cost of that type of insurance
It's
is.
actually their job.
Yeah,
We gotta watch, you're probably not aware, but when we have to stay out of operations. So.
Oh, I know we have to stay out of it, but we can read the.
Yeah, you can look at
information.
it.
we can ask for specific,
Like, cause
parts
when
of
it
the
comes to
insurance.
decisions, it's actually, we have to make decisions, so therefore we need the information. to
There's
make
not a-
decisions.
We do make decisions, but there's a lot of stuff that we don't make decisions on. It's.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
I was just looking to see if I had the library agreement on here, which I don't. But if you like, we can put it on the drive and then it's available. We just have it in a binder in the,
yeah,
it's
it's in one of our last meetings package. too. Yeah, it'll be there.
in
So I'll just carry on here.
Yeah.
So municipal affairs, everything's been updated with the nomination results with Mike Worthington, in by acclamation. Campaign disclosure that we forgot last time is done and filed. So I went over the complaints and sidewalk. The in-house 3-day audit was, went very well. So now they'll correspond with WRC's audit. Once they get all that, they'll do their consolidated financial statements and then they'll present to council on April 10th. T4s, hopefully everybody got them in the mail. They were all done and completed, sent out. The annual WCB report has been submitted. We're also just received recently researching the grant for a solar project. All the building site IDs have been submitted, so hopefully Terrelta will have be able to put a proposal together and present back to council.
So, Jim, I talked to you about that. I can't remember that.
That's the one she's.
That's the one she's
talking
talking about. I can't remember what that grant was.
Yeah.
FCM or something like that.
Yeah, FCM, yeah.
Which we are a member of, so. Noise and litter bylaw, we're still in the process of reviewing that and assessing how we're actually gonna do all those, present that. So we'll bring that back at the next meeting. It is on the agenda, but we'll table it till next meeting. The forest franchise fee, all the advertisement was done and we did not get back any comments, so we're into phase 2 of the franchise fee agreement. So we're just waiting back to hear from the EUC. Okay, some concerns from the last meeting. The crooked pole on Memory Lane, Fortis was out, assessed it. It's not an immediate threat, but they will replace it in the spring. And they will also be replacing an existing transformer pole in the industrial park for commercial service back to Nutrien. So if anybody sees them down there, that's what they're doing. There was an inquiry about liability for off-road vehicles, injury on village land. Village is only liable if we were negligent. So if we left a big, huge hole in the ground and a ATV went into it, yeah, we're negligent. That we would be responsible for that. But if they were touring about, fell off their bike and broke their arm, that's not negligent, right? So it just depends upon the circumstances. So and it's up to them to prove that we were negligent.
Also goes to say if they're in accordance to our bylaw or
Yeah.
not in accordance to our
Yeah.
bylaw.
Exactly. She said you could post signs, no off-road vehicles permitted, things like that. But other than that,
Well, they've
we're only
got-
liable if we're negligent.
They've got those kind of signs on Memory Lane.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it
Yeah.
seems to have worked. And they're
Okay.
not doing on Memory
Yeah,
Lane.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's any trucks
There's always
driving up and
those.
down it
Yeah.
this winter.
No, not
Yeah.
enough snow.
Like I said, they were out, assessed all about buildings that have a value over $250,000. They don't assess anything under that, so just those ones. We've also, in your package, we've updated the email response back for the campground, so I put that in your package so you guys could see what and provide back any comments. You guys would like to see something different, or this is the campground rules, quiet times. So yeah, that's this one here.
So that's an automatic email that is received by the person who made the reservation.
Okay.
When they get the confirmation of their reservation through the system, that email goes with it.
So the code is not public knowledge. it's
No,
only to-
No, that's
It goes directly to someone who's reserved.
Okay.
Mhm. And we can change that code to keep it fresh.
Should-
Just one suggestion, just maybe correct flow on the second to last bullet. It says to keep our campground welcoming to all visitors. Disruptive individuals may be asked to leave instead of disruptive individual. Doesn't sound
Should be
grammatically
plural,
correct.
yeah. I agree.
individuals. Yeah.
Oh, the typo.
Grammatical.
Just a
Individual,
grammatical.
it disrupted individuals. Is that
Yeah.
what you want to say?
Yeah.
Okay, add an S. Yep.
You could have just said that, or you said any disruptive individual, whichever way you want to do it.
I'm kind of obvious, I think, but do we want to put in there, if they're asked to leave, they forfeit their fees or their deposits or anything?
It's already non-refundable.
Is it,
Yeah.
okay,
So they receive this when they apply?
When they pay
Okay.
and confirm.
And we still have signs up at the campground with the same
Mhm.
information on it?
Mhm.
Okay.
so this is not a generated email once they pay.
Auto generated.
Yeah, auto generated, okay.
That it?
Yeah, just so if you guys had anything else you want to see on that email.
No, it-
No,
That's it.
Keep it simple,
Yeah.
best, yeah.
Okay, are you finished?
Yep.
Just for information, the lease agreement with the library is in the meeting package for December 13th meeting.
Okay.
So if you go into your Google Drive,
can you send that to me, please, Jack?
December 13th.
do you have access to the Google Drive, Mike, or you need it separately?
Not
sent?
yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, for those of you who do, so when you go into your Google Drive and you select the council meeting packages, right? Here's what your drive looks like. And you select council meeting packages here. And then
Yeah.
you select last year. And then you select 1213. And it's item 9.7, I think. Yeah, there it is. 9.7.
Okay.
Okay.
That it?
So
We want to move to accept Public Works Office monthly report.
I'll make the motion to accept.
All in favor? Carried. Minutes. January 10th, regular council meeting.
Move to accept minutes of January 10th.
We pass that down to Mike.
Did you want to see a particular page? Anyone?
Larry moved to accept.
I didn't see anything issues.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Carried. Unfinished business. Fire service agreement.
Jen, want this one?
Okay, so the question from the last meeting that came with the service agreement was, do we want the rural association, fire rural association asked if we would consider changing the definition of large capital to be from only vehicles to include building or possibly other. So what I decided to do was draft a comparison, and that ended up into 4 different versions, and I'll try and explain this as slimly as possible. So each version here is slightly different. This first version is the most recent version. It's everything we've discussed, and the Fire Association is happy with this version. And so what I added on the top there is a comparison that demonstrates, like, this is what our 47,000, not including the 17,000, okay? Because that's a separate capital contribution, right? But everything else that we contribute to the fire, this is the impact that overall it has. And you can see it includes the 65% reimbursement from the fire. And then here, this is the impact. We got their numbers from this last year. So these are accurate numbers from what their last year's spending was. So this is what their budget, this is what their real impact is on their budget. And there's our contributions right there, subtracted from them. Okay. So this demonstrates how we contribute to their overall budget. Okay. So I thought that was good to have that picture. So now that's version 1, which is what we've basically are most familiar with. Version 2 here is the same exact fire service agreement, except now it has in large capital, it includes vehicle and buildings, not tools, not other capital things, just vehicle and buildings. Otherwise, everything else is the same.
Over 10,000.
Yeah, over 10,000. Yeah. Yeah, over 10,000 intended life beyond a year. And this definition is from the county, except I've removed tools, equipment, etc. from it.
And increased.
Yeah, and then what I did was I increased, you don't have to do it, right? This is just to show the hypotheticals. I increased the 17,000 contribution to the 20,000 because the 17,000 is according to a schedule that, because we give a third of the replacement cost to their vehicles. And 17,000 is what keeps us replacing those vehicles according to the schedule, which is on the last page of this agreement. And so, so if we were including buildings in that, I thought, okay, what if we bumped it up just so you can see what it looks like, right? So here's what our total contribution would be, and then that, and then I got a little bit more creative and thought, okay, well, what if they had full autonomy? Because that was part of the conversation. Was well, what if we just gave them full autonomy? We contributed, and we didn't tell them what to do, and there wasn't any feedback or nothing, just autonomy, right? So this version 3 is full autonomy. It gets rid of the 35-65 split because now there's no invoice sharing. And I've taken away fuel consumption. So this operating budget, $27,888 and change, that's what we already pay. Those invoices come directly to us in the form of insurance or the radio or the WCB. And so the difference with this fire service agreement comes down to the definition of large capital is completely broad. It includes tools, equipment, apparatus, etc., because they have full autonomy. But we have select operating expenses as a definition, which lists the ones insurance, internet, radio, water, sewer, power, gas, and no other, because that's what those are the invoices that come directly to us. And so instead of them paying 65% of what comes to us, we pay the 100% of it, and they pay 100% of what they pay. So that's what version 3 is laying out there. And then to put in a protection for us, there's a written letter acknowledging contributions, kind of like what we had to do for CRIS funding from the county. And it obviously 35-65 is out there. And then large capital funds are requests made in writing, explaining it with supporting documentation that's required. And then that's also in the other two. And then lastly, version 4 is like an amalgamation of 3 and 1. So it's 35-65 on fuel only. We still do all of our stuff. Here's the actual numbers from their fuel last year. And then the 35-65, the definition for large capital is like it was in version 3. The 35-65 is back in there, but it says only for fuel. So you can see here that this cost, the cost goes up in a way with more autonomy. So there's the version 3. So version 4, which gave full autonomy plus fuel, sharing on fuel, was that this is the estimate of the potential cost to us. And then that's not including fuel and no 35-65. And then this one is 35-65 on everything with an increase in the large cap. And it does include, I don't know why I said it does. And then this is as is. So there's so I thought in the conversation, since you were talking about autonomy versus not autonomy, large cap versus buildings, I thought it would be good to see there's lots of pros and cons.
I'm not
But-
for going full autonomous,
So that would cancel.
just
version
because of the
34.
fact that they're not gonna be fully autonomous. They're gonna be allowed to spend the money we give them. Right, basically, but we're still paying
Well, no, we're not.
internet and all that stuff, right? And
Ye- yes.
insurance and I don't know. I don't agree with going full autonomous, but that's just me.
We still have to be able to verify to the ratepayers where the money goes, or would, if they went that route and we simply said, well, we give them so much and it's up to them.
Well, it's not really any different than the lodge board. Like the lodge board is a fully autonomous board, right?
Yeah.
That we give money to. But we also don't pay, like we pay a requisition to the lodge.
Yeah.
But we don't pay anything else, right? We pay their, you know what I mean? We're still gonna be tied to the fire department.
Yeah, no, I'm just curious, just if we give them so much money and then a ratepayer comes back and says, well, what's my money going towards? You know, do we have to be able to verify that and to say, yes, this is where your money went, rather than saying, we gave them this and they spent it,
No,
you know,
we
as
don't give up
required.
the reserves money.
Yeah,
That money still sits with us until they need it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the only thing we're doing is we're paying the bills that come to the village, which is insurance, internet,
Well,
WCB,
yeah,
But they're still our employees.
yeah.
Whatever
So-
we do, I think that there still has to be accountability. They have to be,
Well, they do, but their accountability comes from money from the county. So they're still only reporting X amount of dollars back to us,
That was
right?
the
So,
question.
Just a comment. All of these entities that receive requisitions or fund the village, every single one of them has to give their version of an audited financial statement to the village. So any sort of resident that asks, well, how is this money being spent? It can be shown exactly what's being spent, or, publicly sufficient of what's being spent by looking at those financial statements.
and those
For example-
statements are available to the public. in the
Absolutely.
office, or-
Yeah.
as a
They're
ratepayer.
also-
Access.
They're also available going directly to that entity, because these are public entities. Like, for example, I sit on the ambulance board. If any member of our public wanted to look at the audited financial statements for the ambulance board, they could go to the village that receives last year's audited financials, or they could go directly to ADEMSA, and it's available to anyone that asks.
so
That answers my question.
yeah, so this provide to the village an audit financial statement checklist for a previous fiscal year. That's in all versions.
Yep.
And then,
It has to be.
yeah, and then, like we were giving 5,000 for their small capital. So that in versions 1 and 2 with the 35-65 split, there's a share of invoices in that case. In the version 3 and 4, where we're not sharing expenses, I put in a line about they have to give us a letter that explains how they used the money, acknowledging the contribution that we made.
Hmm.
Like what we had to do for the village.
And you
I mean,
said
for the
For
county.
Chris,
Agreement one, they accept, they're good with.
Yeah, they are. They're good with agreement one. I just made these not because we needed to have something better, just because I
Just
thought we
show
wanted to
example.
see what the alternatives look like.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
yeah, my interpretation on what, like, for example, this discussion kind of came up with their wanting to add in buildings to large cap. My interpretation of that is they're not looking for monies right now. They don't want to see an increase in the funds.
Mhm.
What they want to see is just for the future, when renovation or maintenance on the building comes up, as it will, like in 20 years or whatever, that we don't have to open up the fire agreement again to put that in, or to kind of take a look at how that's going to be funded. It's just to try and make it so where it's, conversation in the future. I did have a conversation, it's not as an official counselor, and they were not as official on the board. It was just at a junior high basketball game. We sat down and I casually talked to one of the members of the fire board, and they said, yeah, there's no interest in money or anything. It's just to say, we thought, might as well try and future proof this. So take that with a grain of salt, because it's not official.
Yeah, but I don't think there's any malice or anything else with it.
No.
They're not trying to be underhanded. It's just, we've come this far.
Motion.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the agreement, first agreement as presented.
The first one is not with buildings, the second one is with buildings.
Oh, okay, sorry. So the first
You
one,
can say the revised definition of large capital if you want in the motion.
and that was the one they were okay with?
The first one they're okay with, the second one gives them buildings in large capital, which is what they were asking for.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to accept the second one with the buildings and large capital.
Go ahead, Mike.
I can't vote for an agreement I haven't read, so I
You
would
just-
prefer to table this for a meeting if it's,
Yep.
doesn't need to be decided. tonight.
Well, the thing is, we've been going with this for a year. I don't know if another month is gonna matter.
I don't think so.
We do have an agreement in place.
We do.
So, and it's just a matter of coming up with that. Do you want to add the buildings into that large capital and increase, well, that second one, we increase that large capital contribution to our reserves by 3,000 a year.
Well, why
To
don't,
keep up with the demand.
well, and you know what, that 3,000 a year that we don't know when they come to buy a new truck, what the new trucks are gonna be worth.
No,
So I'm not against tabling it for a month,
okay.
so Mike can read it. That's,
Makes sense.
Okay, do you want me to retract my?
No.
Gotta do it right.
Well, the motion's here, so do we just
Just-
vote and it doesn't pass? And then
we vote
we have
against it.
a motion
If
to
it-
Defeat it.
table, or- yeah.
We defeat it.
So we had a motion on the floor, all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Did I
Not-
read
not
Defeated.
Defeated. Sorry, sorry. It's the first time I've had to say that in here.
Yeah, get used
So
to
I
it.
suggest that council direct staff to just send a letter to the fire department, just to say, hey, we've tabled this just to allow our new counselor to be able to read
Yeah.
the agreement so that he can vote on it.
Yeah.
With
With knowledge, yeah, I'm good with that.
just to let them know that it wasn't just tabled for,
Wasn't dismissed.
there's a reason.
You made a motion to direct staff to do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll make that official motion to direct staff to just send a letter to the library, to the fire association indicating the reasons why we tabled.
Can you add your
Motion.
motion to table this
And I move to table, well, no, I'll do it as a separate motion,
separate? Yeah, okay.
Should we do the table motion first?
Yeah.
probably.
Okay.
Makes more sense.
Yeah, we're getting that in, yeah. Larry, you wanna move, or Mike, you wanna move to table?
Mike's moving the
I
table.
move to table the renewal or change of the fire department agreement for 1 month.
All in favor? Carried. Now, Adam, do you wanna read your motion to direct staff?
Okay. I move that we direct staff to send a letter to the fire association indicating our reason for tabling until next month.
All in favor? Carried. So I got a question for you. So I have this.
Mhm.
What is this under in our?
That's your financial. So,
So where is that? in our-
Seven. 7
Oh, right there. Sorry.
yeah, that's okay.
Rocky Mountain Review.
Okay, so the Rocky Mountain Review is part of your asset retirement obligation. Our next step is to go ahead and do samples at those 18 locations that were identified. So we're looking at a cost of $1,350. Because budget is not been prepared yet, if council would make a motion to approve that expense. Add it to this year's budget.
And what was the number?
18 sites at $75 each. For 1,350, and then probably his time to come out, I think, is 250, so it would be 1,600, 1,600.
What's this for again?
Your asset obligation retirement,
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
right,
to do with
yeah,
the audit.
yes,
right?
okay,
So-
yeah.
Would somebody like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion. What do
To
we got?
approve,
To
to approve.
to approve the $1,600
How do you want it created?
for the Rocky Mountain
Review.
review
Yeah, for asset retirement obligation.
under the Rocky Mountain review.
With Rocky Mountain review, yeah.
All in favor? Carried. 2023 audit recommendations.
Okay, while audit was happening, Jody requested, was funds sitting in future water sewer repairs, and she just needs a motion to transfer it out of the future water sewer repairs to operating. The amount is 14,777.84.
Why?
Why? It needs to be transferred out of that account to operating, because that's where the funds needed to be moved. This was one of the water line breaks
Okay.
last year.
Okay.
So it's just a motion we forgot,
Okay,
and so it's required.
Okay. I will so move.
all in favor? Carried. Financial reports.
So, okay, your financial statement was not in your package because it was not prepared, so it's you got it on the table today?
There.
Yeah, yeah, it's a little bit small, sorry.
Like this, I can read it.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
I go like this, I can read it just for two. Same as yours,
Oh, mine.
old person.
Oh, person.
Mine first.
That's sorry.
It's all good.
Two-thirds.
I totally get it.
What it is that's the mayor's. Version. This is just,
It's the old guy.
Old guy's version.
okay, I like that.
So this is the whole financial package here that they're looking at. So you have your financial statement, bank reconciliation, receipts. that comes in. And then the next three will be anywhere from 1 to 3 a month. We do accounts payable, so that would be checks and overdue. So this is your bank reconciliation. Outstanding checks.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
No,
I'll make a motion to accept as presented.
All of them? I'm just kidding. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, would you like more time to kind of review them and look through and ask questions?
These are the statements.
Yeah.
I can get caught up on the statements.
Okay,
I can accept them.
okay.
so those are receipts for the months. That's all numbers coming in.
Yeah, of course. All of them.
All in favor? Carried. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of a catch up for Mike,
Yeah.
for sure, for the
So-
next.
This is your AP that we do. Oh, thank you. So
I'm sorry.
this is our first check line. Checks, direct debits out of the account.
We'll stop. We'll get out of
So
the
that's
kitchen.
one of them. There's actually 3 last month, so.
Correspondence,
Ooh,
anything?
What is the period? This is for one.
January.
This-
This one doesn't say, no, these ones don't. This is for the January. So you're looking at everything that was done in January now.
okay.
Correspondence,
That's new business.
So our monthly term, we
that's not
we
too
have
bad.
outstanding 139. We have receipts of 112. So we're underwater for dam
Mhm.
by 20 grand, 30 grand almost.
Yeah.
$28,000.
But you'll see-
Lots
Here,
of
I'll
changes.
show you the BBR after it's at the back. It's your budget variance report.
Cool.
Yeah. Which one are you looking at?
Because in our correspondence, there was a letter from Minister Schultz about water. And then we also have 193.
Yes, that's a new one that just came in, so.
I'm just trying to see what's the difference between the two.
Actually, the second one was more to the water license holders too,
Yes,
right?
this one's to municipalities, this one's to water
Yeah.
license holders, so it's, they read a little different, but kind of the same message.
Basically, yeah.
Just a question, I guess, further with that. I don't know if it's now or in the older. I better check my agenda. This last meeting, we asked to kind of start preparing a water response.
It's in here, yeah,
Yeah, good. So,
2024.
yep. So don't need to discuss it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm uncomfortable.
Let's just pretend though.
Maybe the budget numbers in here, so this is.
No budget numbers yet.
No, I
So
know, I
that's
said
fine.
we need to get them in at some point, so this is a meaningful report.
No. Okay. So. Good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
I think Mike's okay now.
Yeah.
Okay. Correspondence. Somebody like to move to accept correspondence as information. Larry, all in favor? Carried. 9.0 new business library 3-year budget.
It's just usual. Every year they have to present you with a 3-year budget.
They're just so simple.
Mhm.
Water and sewer.
Oh, that's in the package, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, you can't rotate it?
No, it would need to be rotated every few years.
Did I
You got
do
one
that?
in your packet.
I did that, didn't I? I could
Could
have
probably just scanned it in.
I could have sent it the other
You
way.
could rotate your screen.
Yeah, there's one in your
I'm
packet.
not gonna rotate.
No, there's one in your time.
Somebody go up and grab a TV and stand. What's this thing?
No, Larry, he has one in his, ours is online.
Oh, yeah, yeah. you can make that. Oh, yeah, because I get her to print mine, so I don't have to sit and fumble with the
Oh,
computer.
there you go.
There you go. There you go.
That's the purpose of laptops.
That looks good.
It's pretty standard. You're just
Yeah.
accepting it as presented.
Yeah.
Looks like we have the stable.
But we didn't have room for.
Somebody like to make that motion.
budget, huh?
Larry, all in favor? Carried. Land use bylaw update.
We can just remove this one because we are discussing land use bylaw below, so
Okay.
sorry, that was a duplicate.
2024.
This is the one we actually forgot to put in. We put the letter back in and forgot to put the action list that we prepared.
So you should have a print, photocopy or a printout.
Yeah.
File.
9.2. You should have this one. on your table.
But it's not,
No, it wasn't in the package yet.
yes, yeah. What we're talking about is a printed sheet.
It was on the table when we came in today.
For that one, this one,
The action
Oh,
plan.
there you go.
this one, I'm seeing.
This was, initial brainstorming.
And just so you know, our utility bylaw does still allow us to regulate sprinkling water at any time.
Wait, the village will impose that?
In speaking with Keenan, obviously we don't use up as much of the water that our license holds. So he says we should be fine. But at the same time, we should still be trying to get everybody in the same movement with the province and conserving water. So my idea is to start right at the beginning of the year, possibly watering.
Well, what is it that we have in place already? What is it for watering?
There isn't anything.
I thought we had it.
No. When we went to the new, where everybody paid for the water, if they wanted to water and have a green lawn, then it would cost them.
We
That was
did,
our,
we did used to have one
We
in
did.
place. So what was the old one? Do you remember? Was it odd even house numbers?
I think
Odd
so.
That's where it
Something
worked.
like that.
Mhm.
I think before spring, we need to have something in writing. And this, being I'm on the water board, I kind of know that this
Yeah.
is fairly serious.
Yeah. So, and I'm thinking it's just watering 2 days a week. And Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I think we should not have any watering. And at the right times of the day. So there's time frames, right, where you're wasting water if you're watering
During the day in the heat, it's a
Yeah.
waste of time.
So there'll be times in the morning, times in the evening, and you're odd and even days for 2 days a week. That's what I was thinking.
Did I see something posted in the post office forewarning about the possibility of drought? There's something in the post office.
Could be
I'm
somebody
sure of it.
Something.
Somebody might have put something up. But
Yeah.
It's probably one of these letters.
Yeah.
you put it
Yeah.
out.
And it's,
It wasn't from us.
people need to be forewarned, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, it would go out in utility notices.
There was also a
Restrictions.
drought statement from the province that I included in the newsletter. That
Yeah,
was-
I think that's what's up at the
Oh,
post
oh,
office.
okay, yeah,
Oh, right, she puts up the newsletter.
that's what it is then, yeah.
Has the
So,
billing come back to us? For the
Sorry?
water? Has the billing for the water come back to us?
No,
No, no.
No, not yet. That's in work.
I didn't know that was finalized or not.
No, it's not. So do you want to work on something that we have in
Yep.
writing?
Yeah, we can have it prepared for the next meeting.
So when you say watering 2 days a week, are you thinking like the residents water 2 days a week?
If they
Yeah.
want, yeah. Just watering their lawns, eh?
Yeah, in the
Because I
garden.
mean, we do have to do something to try to keep trees alive too. I mean,
And-
that's what's gonna be the hardest thing is on the trees.
Trees and gardens.
And
Well,
gardens.
yeah, for sure, but I mean, you look at what a full-grown spruce tree takes in water in gallons in a year to try to keep them alive.
Uh-huh.
So anyway,
This isn't any different. Like 16 years ago, when we built our house, they had us on full water restriction, meaning we were not allowed. We just planted a whole bunch of new trees. And we were not allowed to
plant
water.
wasn't running
Yeah,
right.
the water plant had issues.
Yeah.
And our trees survived.
Okay,
Also, we were a little creative.
9.4. Act design purchase. So Mike wouldn't know what this is, and maybe he does, I don't know. So what this is we'll put it in our sewer lagoons. And it breaks everything down, so we're not spending $110,000 to go in and dredge them and clean them out. So this is supposed to lengthen the amount of time we can go without
You were aware of the problem we have with the sewage, right?
I saw the cost overrun from
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
So we're just asking for a motion because again, budget is not approved. And this will be a regular annual maintenance that will come
It'll save
roll
save
over
us
from
money
year
in
to
the
year
long
then.
run.
Therefore,
Yeah.
okay.
This will be in the budget when it's
Yeah.
annually, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Preventative maintenance cost. I'll make the motion to approve the purchase of Act Design for 3,500.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Carried. EV fueling station.
This is just for information because our strategic plan talked about technologies and being the, for our strategic plans. And I came across something about EV stations and I had the thought, well, if we go solar, maybe we want to include an EV station so that way we can up how much solar we can use and get revenue from. That's where my thought process started. So I'm just reporting what I found out, which is that it's not really a viable or sustainable option for us right now. It's interesting. They have companies that set up the unit and it runs like a gas station, except we own the unit. So anyone who buys power to charge would come to us. But the unit itself, which is one of their higher end ones, was what I was researching. So it can charge 2 cars in like 15 minutes. It's 300,000 just for the unit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we're just gonna skip right to 9.6.
Yeah, let's do that.
That was information.
Information. Prices will come down as.
Lot sales review.
So the real estate has just been, now we're going to be going in 6 months here next month. Well, 5 months, right?
5 months, I think. Yeah.
And they're wanting to know if we want to look at reducing the cost of the lots again.
I didn't think we could lower
Yeah,
them
we
past the
can.
assessed value.
Yes, we can.
Can we?
We have to have a public meeting,
Public hearing.
public hearing.
So
This is the realtor asking that?
I think I would like, yes, the realtor was asking this. I think I would like to wait to get the subdivision all final and get Dennis to assess the land and see what we're really assessed at.
Well, I would like to not jump at that right now. It's only January, right?
Yeah.
I think the best time for lot sales is gonna start in the spring, summer, right?
Mhm.
Did we have somebody looking at a lot? You mentioned at the last meeting, we had some.
There are a few people who look at lots, and this might be information to consider. The thing is the one for sure out of Airdrie, and then I think there were 2 separate individuals. They were looking for the ability to put on a modular home without a basement. And right now we require basements.
So you can't
For
put
that
modular
subdivision.
homes as long as they have. a
Well,
basement.
Yeah, because that's something else we learned. So modular home is sort of a used term in different ways. So the difference is we don't want to have what was once upon a time called a mobile home, which is now called a manufactured home. But if you are requiring a basement, a manufactured home has to have a steel support beam.
Right.
And so that means it's not going to be one that looks like the trailers along Christian Avenue, right? It's automatically going to be a more squarish home. So by requiring the basement, whether it's manufactured, mobile, modular, whatever term people are using, it's already going to be a house, not a trailer. And if we don't require the basement, then it opens the door for people to have something more like a double wide or single wide. And I think, and that's where those people got hooked up because they wanted to bring in a house without a basement.
Okay. So what's a modular home? A modular home is one that's prefabbed and on the truck and then they put it together? Is that?
Yeah, where it's assembled off-site.
Oh, so it's brought in on the trailer?
Yeah, and it could either be brought in whole or it could be brought in sections.
Okay.
Like Nelson's home up in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
house was a module.
And our
was like
RTM.
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
We constructed it ourselves,
I
but it
could-
came in pieces.
I could kind of see this because the price of price of concrete is very expensive. Yeah,
It is.
so there's a lot of people trying to get away from having to do concrete.
Well, there's
basements.
other options too, ICF and that sort of thing,
Mhm.
That's as far as.
which is,
Basements
There's a
are
difference,
expensive.
there's a difference too, like if you jump from a basement all the way to something on skids, like a mobile home. Or a like a modular home that's called a park model, it's basically a single or double wide with a gable roof instead of a rounded tin roof. There's still trailers, right?
Mhm.
So if you go all the way from having a basement, which would be like a R1 neighborhood, to having something on skids, then you're kind of mixing development from
Yeah.
Yeah.
R1 to trailers, right?
Yeah.
There's a middle ground where you require a 4-foot frost wall in the crawl space.
Mhm.
So you're still meeting like a structural for an actual, like for a permanent resident home. But again, you're changing the accessible value of a home, right?
Mhm.
So that would impact the current landowners to change
Yeah,
that
sure.
Yeah,
net to the negative side.
Mhm.
yeah, I think, right now that whole area is zoned R1.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And if you wanted to change it, we'd have to rezone the area.
Yeah.
That's just what,
not happening.
I think they're more viable to sell lots if you lower the price to, like, around Alberta, I've been looking over the years. Because in my family, those lots have been a talking point since they were built. And so some towns, I've seen them as low as $5,000, right? So I think we were at 50 or 55. I don't know what they're at today.
48.
But to be competitive in Alberta, if you want to, if council wants to unload them, then unloading them is a perfectly viable option. And there is no lower bound. You can go to $5,000. I've seen sales for $5,000. You can go to 10, 15, 20.
You still have to get some of your money back that you put in up there, right?
Well, what's the balance of the debenture right now?
That's the fun thing
Can
too.
tell you off the top of my head. So
Because even if you sell a lot, you can't put it against your debenture.
No. Anyway, I don't think we should do anything with this till spring anyway.
Well,
That's my feeling.
just my experience with working with realtors. It's common practice that when something doesn't move, they go back to their clients and they look to reduce the price.
Yeah.
Just because their
They're not
motivation
hopers.
is to sell. And our motivation is to sell too, but like we do have to take a look back because, for example, the village of Delia created a whole bunch of, like, they had lots and they did bring them out for sale for a really cheap price. And then years after that fact, they still don't have people that have built on those lots. It was people bought the lots, but they didn't have financing to build homes, so they never moved to Delia.
Did they?
So there was, I haven't looked totally into it yet.
Because if they had a 1-year building commitment,
Yeah, they did.
you just take the land back.
Yeah,
You
yeah, but they,
resell it.
yeah, but it was just, I think they sold them for like
It was
$100 or something. It was for 1,000. It was just a
it was motivation to get
motivation to
residents.
sell them and nobody come in and build. Go ahead.
it reminds me, the one lady who didn't want to build a basement, the realtor did say that she was not getting financing for building a house. And I remember that because we had a casual office conversation about, well, maybe the village can help be a support in that. And then we concluded, well, if the bank's not going to loan money, why would we want to?
No, we're not.
We want
I
people
know
who
we're
will
not
pay
gonna
their
do that.
taxes,
Yeah.
right? So anyway, so you just sparked the memory that she couldn't get financing that was required for the amount to build a home. She was trying to shrink what was required of her.
That was that last property that kind of went by the wayside. That you were talking about.
No, I don't think she had a property selected yet. There's the one property that sold. They take ownership in March. And I think they want to break ground in April or something.
Good.
And then,
That's right on the corner.
yes.
Yes.
And then the other corner on your side of the street, they have decided they kind of lost interest because they were also having a financial mix-up. Sorry about that.
Okay.
And then this was a separate person from Airdrie, an older lady who was interested in putting a house out there. But she didn't want to do the basement. And what Councillor Sommerfeld was saying reminded me that it was because she couldn't get approved for the amount that she was required in order to put in place them.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's stays as is.
for now.
So in the meantime, can we remove that sign down on the corner then? The one
No.
that says 55,000
No,
on it?
we're changing the sign. We're not changing the sign, we're just gonna
Then
add
changing
to
the
it, is we're
number.
gonna put, it's gonna say reduce, and then we're gonna put the 48 up there.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's in the works.
Okay, moving on, 9.7 LED board. I asked to have this put on there because the LED sign at the curling rink is actually our sign. And we haven't been paying for the power for it. We talked about it and we've never done it. So the curling rink president had just asked me if we had talked about it. And I said, well, a while ago. Go ahead.
Past Counselor Allard was supposed to take back, we had proposed an amount and then came back and said they refused. And then he was supposed to go back and see what they wanted, and that never came back.
So can I make a motion to direct staff to have a conversation with the curling rink and see what they would, kind of a price they would think
Open up
that it's
dialogue
costing
for
us
sure.
to run that? Costing them to run it because they shouldn't be stuck with the bill.
No. It's a community.
I mean, it's a pretty simple thing.
Mhm.
In the spring, you go shut it off per month and see the difference in the
Mhm.
power bill.
Mhm.
It's LED. I mean, it's not gonna be a whole big amount, I don't think, but. Okay. So there is a motion to direct staff to that. All in favor? Carried. Fortis renewal agreement franchise fee.
Yeah, so there was an initial 20-year agreement with an initial 10 years, which was January 1st, 2015 to December 31st, 2024. So this usually gets put into place about in June. So now we're looking at the first subsequent term for 5 years, which will be January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2029. So it's already been approved. They just need council to agree move to have the CEO agree in writing with council's support to renew the Fortis agreement another 5 years as per resolution 2014-128.
Yep.
So
We want to make that motion. Larry. All in favor? Carried. Letter from National Police Federation.
yeah, they're looking for a support letter from all the municipalities in hiring additional RCMP officers in the community and across the province. So they're looking for additional funding from the province.
What's it gonna cost us?
Nothing. Oh, this is just a support letter.
Right now, so
This is a support letter, but no, yeah,
I have no problem giving support letters.
and they've given a template of basically what put in the letter. They want the government of Alberta to invest 80 million in our Alberta RCMP in pursuit of hiring an additional 400 new RCMP officers.
How much for 400?
80 million.
It says there's
80
a
million over
Is
3
it-
years.
is there-
Over 3 years.
2024 pre-budget. That's not here.
So would you want to do 80 million divided by
Yeah.
3 and then
Sure.
say it is?
Sure.
What it is per year. But I mean, a support letter really doesn't mean anything
It
for us,
doesn't,
right?
just-
No,
It's just meaning that we support them, so.
But I guess my question, is there ever a study, like, do we actually need more RCMP or do we need more sheriffs?
Well, I know that this. We've had discussion for a few years.
They're useless.
Well, trouble is sheriffs won't come here.
No.
Not currently.
How come?
They don't come to municipalities, they're highway.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So
If
if you're talking about policing here, I would rather send a support letter for RCMP than I would for
The sheriff,
a sheriff.
right?
But the trouble is, and this just happened on Saturday.
Mhm.
There was a break-in on a farm. And there was a lady going through buildings and the guy followed her into town. I don't think he got her license plate number. He didn't phone the police. He just followed her in town, knew what her truck looked like. If nobody phones the police, nothing's ever gonna happen. They can all sit there and say, well, they don't come out here and do anything. Well, did you phone them? Well, no. Well, then they can't know that this is happening if they don't get a phone call.
They won't attend unless they're called.
So, I mean, you have to phone them. So
Yeah.
I will make a motion to sign a support letter for the government. to
National
put more
Police
money. Yeah,
Federation.
all in favor?
I'm gonna vote against this one.
Okay, carried. Not, all opposed,
Mhm.
4, 1 against. So 9, 10 cameras. So,
Sorry, before we move on, in that support letter, it has a space for how many additional officers would our community specifically benefit from?
1,
A fraction of one.
and we can, to be honest with you, I see them in Rocky Ford a lot more than I think they're over here.
Mhm.
So we could be telling them we want more patrols.
Mhm.
So
Like I see them over there twice a week.
what number would you like to put this letter?
They were coming out of town this afternoon. If you'd
Oh,
see a
were they?
squad car going out
I
in
don't.
town. So they did do a patrol this afternoon, but
That's a hard thing for us to put a number down. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't come here half the time anyway, so
With any additional
just
officers.
go ahead, Mike.
There was a conversation a while back, has been off and on over the years with the RCMP costs of a bunch of small towns getting together and hiring and creating a municipal police force, starting with one car and one guy kind of thing. One guy,
Yeah.
for one guy and a retired guy for on call. Those types of conversations. Have those ever continued?
I don't think so. I don't ever remember having that conversation in here. I just don't know how you would do it, right, with the training when you have. I would never vote to put one person in a vehicle to go around and patrol towns, like
you gotta
the way the
remember
times are
that's-
nowadays. I mean, you'd be like that, the bylaw officer in Chestermere that got shot or stabbed or whatever when he was by himself. So I don't know.
Well, the RCMP drive by themselves, they just phone for backup.
They
Right?
won't phone for backup,
Yeah.
but if we only had one guy hired, right?
Well, you'd have to have two, right? Because you'd have to have a day and night shift.
To answer that question, I have heard conversation over coffees.
Yeah.
With different people in different areas.
Yeah.
Talking about that, but I don't think it's ever been a topic of a conversation in any municipalities.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I don't know what that would cost.
All
I
right,
don't know.
so
Anyway,
we'll find an
Hasn't
appropriate
been
number.
investigated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Venture
so
against.
10 in cam or no, in camera, sorry, cameras. So after the break-in, Yvette and Kelly and I kind of talked and Brian about getting some more cameras. We have nothing that shows, like these cameras are fine when they're in a lit up building daytime,
Yeah,
but we have nothing that shows outside. So Yvette was busy today, so she asked me if she sent me the information and said, can you phone and talk to Merle and quiz him? So I did. So Merle and I talked about putting one on each end of the poles on the boulevard. On Broadway, the Broadway. So 360, so it would get all 4 directions. 3 on the shop. They would be just 180 degree. So there would be one on the east wall, one on the south wall, one on the west wall, facing your outdoor rink. And then 2 here, one on the front of this building, one on the back above the doors. So he asked me, he says, well, in his email, it asked about, did we want something good enough that we could read license plate and like extremely good facial recognition at night? And I said, absolutely. So he didn't really send out any pricing yet. But we have nothing to go on from the other night. We have 3 people that you can't tell nothing about. So he said we can put it, there'll be a DVR, I think he said, in the office here. It would all come remotely back to here. And I believe the hall is talking about getting some too. So there's cameras could come back here also. So all the information would be stored here. I was hoping he was gonna get me the price.
Just one question though, like with that, because even if we got the camera information, someone comes in with their face hidden, they come in a stolen vehicle, we've got a stolen vehicle's license plate, we still can't identify the people. So sometimes what I'm looking at is what's our procedure inside the shop? Like, for example, is it just the locked door that's protecting all of the equipment and the tools and the stuff that's in that shop? So there's no alarm system,
Cages.
there's no cages.
Yeah, but they were in there for an hour.
Yeah.
You can put all of the
Yeah, but I'm
equipment,
s-
all the stuff you want in there. If they're gonna be in there for an hour with grinders and
Yeah.
torches, they can do whatever they want
Even
still.
with the camera, they would be there for an hour. Like what I'm saying is do we open up this conversation to have an alarm system on buildings
can
that
do-
have the most expensive
we can do
equipment
both.
that's in it?
See, the thing that worries me is they stole the keys out of the Ford. Why would you take the keys out of the truck and not steal the truck? You know what I think? They're gonna show back up.
Yeah.
We got what's that Hotsy worth?
Yeah.
$8,000
Yeah.
sitting on a trailer.
Yeah.
$10,000. They could have hooked up to that and drove away with it. But we have no idea even what to look for. Like the truck that broke into the farm is a black Ford with, looks like they ran into a power pole in the front end because it's V'd. And it has a sign in the back, a sticker in the back window that's an ace of spades. And underneath it says no limits. Within what day was Brian broke Monday, or that was Saturday? I already know who that is. But I have no proof that she was in our shop. I don't know. I'm not against putting alarms in, but we have notifications can be sent to Brian on your or Yvette or whoever, and you phone 911.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, at the rate that it's at $1,000 and the inconvenience, because now Brian's gonna spend how many days trying to find, I think it's something we gotta think about.
Yeah, it's just something to think about, like, because for example, you know, in the locale where I work, right, we have an alarm system. We have thefts in the school, only during school hours. What I'm saying is like, there isn't anyone that's, you know, like, and we haven't, there is, you know, equipment that you could off-sell in the school that's valuable to a pawn shop or whatever, but we haven't ever had a break-in.
I'll tell you the
And
stuff
it's because
that's,
within 1 minute of that alarm tripping, it sends a call to central office and it sends a call to the police.
go ahead.
Could we also possibly look at, because with my work, we deal with oil and gas all the time, is one of the job boxes.
I'm sorry, say that again.
The job boxes, so they're a big, you can pick them up fairly cheap, secondhand, but they're an actual industrial box. You could put all the tools in and stuff like that, and when you lock it, it's the way the lock is positioned, it's very hard to cut.
Makes it harder to, it takes it longer to.
It takes it longer, right? It's no longer a theft of convenience. It takes you a lot longer to do, and that in conjunction with an alarm or something else. It's a secondary.
Well, I just don't know what all, because what they steal, 2 chainsaws, hedge trimmers, so how big is this box gonna have to be, right?
Well, the last job box I picked up was 6 feet by 5 feet by 5 feet by 5 feet high, and I paid $400 or $500 for it. And when it was put down, you could move it if you wanted to, and it had a discrete or a safe position for the lock. You couldn't get out with a grinder. So if you put one of the disc locks on it, it was secure. Right? They're designed to sit in the middle of oil fields, in the middle of nowhere. So once
To think about for sure.
once they're there,
Okay,
they
so
solve.
then that solves the shop issue.
Yes.
That doesn't solve this office issue.
No, it doesn't.
And I mean, we could lose all the tools up there, whatever. Yeah, but you start losing personal information and the computers out of here,
Oh,
it's gonna shut us
Well, we
down.
definitely have to do something here, but we need to get
Well,
some prices.
We gotta get prices on that.
Should we get like a security company or three of them to put together like a RFP?
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt, I guess, but I think it would.
Because there'll be companies like the one that does the school.
Yep.
And there's probably security companies down there. I don't know. Like, I don't know if Nibs has security, but he does.
No, they've got cameras.
But it would be interesting to know what the cost is for that alarm. Because I know if it goes to Brian or Yvette, like that's, that's their time. Or if it just went to,
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
mean,
so
it's,
Yeah,
it's an inconvenience, there's no doubt. But
you don't live in town.
you can set the time, well, she wouldn't be coming in anyway, right? She's just gonna pick up, she's gonna look at it. The way I do it in Rocky Ford, we have cameras on the shop. And it sends me an email. I look at the email and if there's somebody up there, phone comes. Yeah, it's an inconvenience, but I'll tell you right now, if I started losing plow truck over there, or it's a bigger inconvenience to me to not have it.
Yeah.
So anyways, we'll just wait. We'll table this until we get some prices and we'll do some figuring, I guess. I don't know, the lockbox is all right idea, but I just don't know how much, I mean. He lost so much big stuff too, right? Like the compound miter saw and
it's because we gave the criminals could use an entire hour.
Yeah, they had the time.
yeah, they have the time. Well, once they're in there, I mean, they were parked out in front, but I mean, if they were smart criminals, they park out back at 2 a.m.
Right.
They could be in there for 5 or 6 hours and nobody would know.
If an alarm had gone off as soon as they opened that door,
Yeah.
that would deter.
That would be a deterrent.
That would have
Yeah.
to, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if I'd been able to, if I had seen that, if it had notified me, I would have
Beautiful.
seen that. And actually, I was ready I would have said to her, "Well, can I help you?" Call the cops and can I help you?
Well, we'll wait and see. We can.
Okay, so, do you want to make a motion because you're directing us to get quotes?
Yeah, we can do that. Sure.
Request for information.
So it's coming from Martin?
Martin.
Yep.
Somebody?
All in favor? Carried.
With information.
Reports, events, Adam.
Our January meeting was canceled. Our next meeting is Tuesday, February 20th.
Wheatland Housing, our last meeting was. December, no. Yeah, what the heck was it? Just a minute. I'm just gonna get to the right month, right here. December. Must have been the 28th of December.
So there
No,
wasn't one in January.
no, sorry, January.
20th of
January
January.
run month,
Okay.
18th of January, sorry.
18th.
Still waiting to find out whether or not it's just been, the government has just extended another couple of months before we'll know whether we get funding for the new lodge.
Mhm.
Basically, it's just same ongoing. Got to get the roof redone. Got a lot of shingle problems. The old lodge. So that's going to be a fairly hefty bill. 20,000 or so. Basically, it's operating the same as it always does. It's going good. People are moving in and moving out. Moving to Sagewood and yeah, lots of standard people in there actually. So
Servicing our
yeah,
community.
yeah. So our next meeting's tomorrow night. Larry,
Last meeting was December 14th. I already reported on that at the last meeting. Next meeting is tomorrow.
Mhm.
So I'll have something to tell you at the next meeting. You want to tag along tomorrow if you want?
Sure.
You're
Yeah.
You home?
Yes.
I think it's 1:30. We gotta be there at 1:30, so. Just,
1:30 in the day, in the middle.
There's, yeah, that was a daytime meeting.
this is a daytime meeting.
I think I gotta see.
Yeah, let me know.
Might have
Yeah,
enough.
just thought you might like to tag along and see how
Yeah,
it works.
normally it'd be okay, but I think I do have a meeting tomorrow. at 1:30 Or 2. sometime.
WFCSS, Richard.
Last meeting was January 24th. Next meeting is February 28th. And right now we are working on one program of compassionate caregivers. So they're actually working focused on the support for those people that offer the caregiving, on teaching them skills and fundamentals on to help them. And they're also ramping up. They're going to start trying to get a little bit more out for fee coverage to help low-income families with coverage of fees for hockey, transportation costs, and everything for the local sports and that when they start up in the spring. That's it for that.
How would that money be dispersed?
They basically, we have there'll be a form that prospective families can fill out, and the WCSS will cover the cost of the administration or the enrollment fees or whatever for skating, hockey, or stuff like that.
Yeah, would it just be for like league sport? Like the reason why I ask is this, like, I run a ski trip
Yep.
in the school, and I know I have students that would love to go skiing, but skiing is an expensive sport, but it's only a one-time trip. That, I'll have to, I just need to network with you and maybe talk about it.
Yeah, we can look into it. I'm not sure whether they do it for one or they do it like for a one time or whether
Yeah,
it's more of a.
It's just an experiential thing, but I'm like, if it doesn't fit the parameters, then
Yeah, we won't know until we ask. So
Yeah.
we can, you and I'll get together and we'll look at it.
thanks.
Yep.
WRC, our last meeting was January 17th. Next meeting's February 21st. So the ongoing battle with the county continues. They're talking, well, I think I touch base that they're talking about pulling their services out. So we'll just supply them with water. They won't get any servicing from us. So the comments I made was, well, we use services to subsidize water costs. So the two villages are still paying for services. And water, why are we going to subsidize the county water rates? Which we're not. They're gonna have to pay more for water. They couldn't understand it. He looked right at me and said, I don't understand what you mean. I said, well, we're not subsidizing your water. Two villages are doing what we can to make WRC viable. And every time we turn around, they're doing something else. There will be an in-camera meeting because I got an email from one counselor. Can't really discuss anything to do with it, but there will be an in-camera meeting to discuss the letter next week. On the water leak that we've been looking for since August? We thought it was in the slough or the coulee out by Lance and Trish Larson's there. It's not. It was right at the Gleason Clearwell outside the building is where they hooked up to the pipe. It wasn't done properly. So, yeah.
Was there a significant loss there?
Yeah, Fairmont, yeah. But we couldn't find it. It wasn't coming to surface. So they just
find
kept
water when it stays up.
just kept isolating and trying to find. Did you get my email asking you to attend? Their
Yes,
meeting next-
yeah, yeah,
6:30 right there.
yeah, next week, 21st,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he asked why I invited he wasn't happy that I invited all the alternates because they're not privy to what's going on. And I said, That's why I invited the alternates. They need to start understanding what they're trying to deal with. We'll talk to Doug Legore about it, because we keep getting thrown in our face about, Doug Legore said when he did the governance review, we gotta stay out of operations, and then they turn around and jump right back into operations again, so. It's
I'm just staying in your lane sometimes.
getting kind of tiresome. Anyway,
It sure helps.
community futures, Richard,
So last meeting was February 1st, next meeting is March 7th. And right now our big thing is dealing with the repayments of the COVID crisis.
Yes.
Yeah, the grants and that, they've extended them. We've had a lot that have, we've been managed to recover or make contact with loan recipients. And we still have some we're trying to track down that have all but disappeared. So and that's it for that.
library, Larry.
February 5 was the last meeting. Next meeting is March 4th. At the meeting last week, it came to the attention that they have a lottery. They've been granted a lottery for the spring, so they're going to be able to be
Casino?
Oh,
at
the
casino.
the
Yeah,
Friends of the
casino,
Library.
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. So they're going to have that happening, and July the 19th is the date proposed for the annual golf tournament.
That it?
That's it.
Asset management.
The web map came in very handy for locating the water line break at the library. And we have submitted the annual water, wastewater, and distribution reports to the provincial government with the help of Keenan from WRC.
Strategic planning.
Well, just because one of the items was about keeping in touch with the community. So the strategic plan that was approved or adopted is on our village website, and the bulk of it, or the main gist of it, was shared on the recent newsletter.
11.0 bylaws, policies, unsightly review changes.
So if we could do the policies first, you had the package last meeting. And so we are looking to approve and rescind what was on the list. So it's more to do with the benefits. And in this package, sick days here, my goodness, somebody could have been sick for months and we would have had to pay them for months on end. Up to 70 days they could have accumulated. So Brian and I hadn't been doing that. Like we very seldom take even a sick day a month. But anyway, so in this policy, it's 10 sick days per year. And automatically on the 8th day, if you are sick, your short-term disability should be kicking in. Okay. So I'm not sure why we ever had 70 days, because short-term will kick in on the 8th day that you're ill.
Vacation.
Yeah. And the other thing I did add in here though is personal days. Personal days is where they can take a half day and go to the doctor's appointment, because it's Monday through Friday. Chances are you can't get there. So they can take up a half day. So they have 5 personal days. So if they have to go see the doctor, they can take a half day every month to go get a checkup or whatever.
So just clarifying that, it's 5 personal half days.
Sorry, 5 days, which they can take up to 5 days per year, and they can take it in half day increments.
Okay,
So
so
usually
usually 5 full days.
5 full days, yeah.
Yes.
And
And
that's
you can
just
take it in
strictly
half
for
day,
doctor's
or
appointments, dentist.
whatever is their personal need.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
like that.
So I have a question, just kind of going back with my company. Are we allowed to inquire under freedom, under personal, whether they're going to a doctor?
No, No,
So
you,
they're just, but we can't ask whether it's for doctor or medical or whatever else.
no, they're
They can
just,
say they need a half day.
they're just saying I need a personal day and
Okay.
that's it.
Okay.
So,
So then that, is this implied that these people, they are on salary? Or are they
this
expecting
is
to
for
get,
full-time employees. Yeah.
so they want to be, they
This
want to
is,
be paid for this time?
Yes.
On an hourly rate.
yes,
It's really interesting.
yes, because, most companies will, you would have to pay for them to be able to go, like, if their salary or whatever, they gotta take a half a day to go to the doctors where you're still paying them, right?
Yes.
So,
Most people, if on salary,
Yeah.
on an hourly, no,
Hourly,
like
you don't.
normally hourly, you check in and you check
well,
out.
the only
Yeah.
reason we do hourly here is because we didn't want to do salary. So,
No,
Yeah.
but that's not what we're
Yeah.
talking about. Hourly employees take a half a day off to go to the doctor. They don't get paid for half a day.
That's what hourly is.
Yep.
yeah, well, this is for full-time employees though.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm a
If they're
full-time
not-
employee. I don't get paid if I go to the doctor. I never have.
Yeah, I'm hourly. I don't get paid, but as a consultant. But the staff who are salaried, they do. But they have to seek approval. It's not, they have to seek approval from their
Yeah.
manager.
I would, from my experience, 5 personal days a year is extravagant. Like I get 1.
Um,
And, I am on, what is it again? I'm salary. And so it's 1 personal day. I can accrue up to 6 and then I can't accrue anymore.
Does it carry
They can carry up to 6. And then
Oh,
once you
well-
get,
annual to annual?
yeah, so I have 6 personal days because I haven't taken a personal day in 10 years.
Right,
But
so
the one that I
they
didn't
keep
take,
falling off.
They just fall off.
Yeah, you need to take time off, Adam.
Sub plan.
You need to have to sub-plan.
Yeah, and see, that's worse than.
Yeah, you see, any place I ever worked, the only people that got PDOs is management
Yeah, and salary, that's it.
and salary. It was never hourly.
No, that's kind of the point of hourly goes.
Yeah.
You typically make a premium on hourly than you do on salary. So.
I mean, I know what I'm gonna do if I get 5 days paid off to go to the doctor. Yeah, I've got an appointment. I need a PDO, right?
Well, and then it's freedom of information, it's private.
You can't ask,
information.
That's what I mean. You can't ask.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
Well,
Cause your salary or your hourly?
Hourly,
You're hourly too.
Are we paying, does town pay overtime?
No.
Like time and a half or anything like that?
Well, yeah, we are.
no, we don't pay overtime.
So what are we doing?
It's time, you use time in lieu of.
I thought we changed that because
No.
we
No,
talked about changing that because, yeah, we did, because you had so many,
nothing's been done.
well, then we need to do that. Cause we talked about,
We talked about eliminating overtime.
no, we talked
Altogether.
about, no, not overtime. You can't limit, you can't eliminate overtime. If they work past their hours, you have to pay them overtime. But what we were doing in lieu of is we were giving them time off in lieu.
Yes.
So Yvette had
70 days.
70 days or whatever,
Yes,
so we talked, and I thought we made a motion
Yeah.
to pay her.
I don't know if it ever went to a motion.
No, there was no motion for that. We talked about it.
Revisit it in the next budget.
So we need to revisit that, but it needs to be on our next, because I mean, how do we give some, I mean, it's fine that you have 70, but we also have to have people working, right? So we need to go back to paying time and a half for overtime after so many hours.
So you still have that in incurred time?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's coming down.
So yeah,
Well, we talked about paying.
Yeah, we were gonna pay
Like
out.
Monday happens, right?
Yeah. see, the reason why that happened, like I can give a little bit of history because I can go back to my very first years on council. There was an issue with our budgets not being able to balance because of overtime and consistent monthly overtime.
And it was
always
the
hit
water
me.
plant.
And so, yeah, I won't get into details on it, but the concern is we're not balancing our budget. We can't balance our budget because we're getting an overtime that we weren't budgeting for. And so there was the thought, of, well, we'll just do time in lieu and not give overtime in order to balance the budget. But it's created a new problem.
Mhm.
The problem was created though when I was working all by myself.
Yeah,
So you're racking up the
We're touched.
hours, but no way to use them,
Yeah,
yeah,
right? So that was the problem, right?
yeah. So
so next, do you wanna just make a note for next meeting that we have a discussion on that, add it to the agenda for next?
Mhm.
yeah.
So do you want to table this policy package till the
I
next
think
meeting?
So, yes.
Well,
Can I,
Okay.
and I'll be able to get that policy package.
Thank you.
There you ask and you received it.
Mhm.
Just like, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's how it works.
You don't have
Okay,
to
so-
open that because it's just,
The bylaws,
okay,
see, I have to rescind a motion.
yes, we accidentally doubled up on the second
Yeah,
reading, yeah.
Okay, I rescind my motion.
Hmm.
2024-01-17.
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor? Carried.
Now, just for information, this unsightly bylaw again, because Mike hasn't really had a chance to, review it, if we can, I mean,
Yeah.
it can be tabled another month. if
Yeah.
we want to, so,
So,
a motion to table till next meeting?
yeah, Richard?
Yeah.
All in favor? Carried. So do you want to do the same to the noise
Yeah.
and litter
Yes.
Okay.
and the land use?
No.
No, okay.
Okay.
So I will make a motion to table
Okay,
noise and litter.
Noise and litter.
All in favor? And you'll get Mike copies of all of them.
yeah.
Okay. Land use bylaw review. Oh, I see. It's a
yes.
Special meeting for council.
So the land use bylaw for you guys, the review and the presentation will be done by Palliser and she will come in and do that. So we strictly need to set aside time just to do that.
Okay.
So, and she likes to start at 6. So, and
Okay.
the date, we had a couple of dates, but she's, with health reasons, so I thought maybe April 24th would be the date, and that is the last fourth Wednesday of April, I think it is, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is usually a
As of right
safe
now.
Wednesday for us because WRC is the following Wednesday, right?
No, third
Yeah, the 17th,
Wednesday. Ours
Oh,
is the
sorry.
17th, yours is.
17th, and then the next one is the 24th, so,
Works for me right now.
okay,
April 24th,
yes.
that's a Wednesday, eh?
Yeah. Typically, I don't think there's any other board meetings on that date,
That late.
so, yeah. So
Shouldn't
6
be.
to 9 is what she's anticipating, and then
Okay.
she will present the land use bylaw to you that time.
24th at 6 p.m. here.
Yes,
Are we?
So a 3-hour meeting, so it'll take, yeah, the land use bylaw is big. It'll take a long time. See, I was just thinking in the back of my head, could we piggyback a little bit of a budget discussion meeting if it's not already done by then? Actually, it should be
no, our
done by then.
budget should be
Yeah.
ready,
Absolutely. Sorry,
Okay.
I was thinking that was March.
yeah.
Somebody want to make that motion?
Yeah, so move.
All in favor? Carried. 2024 budget.
Okay, so yeah,
well, well, there hasn't been any change from what we gave you.
Mhm.
And the audit now is finished, so we have actuals now. The audit just finished recently, so this hasn't been updated
Hasn't
with their
been updated.
audits yet. So there's not really anything new to discuss, except that Yvette feels we should have a budget meeting an hour prior to March's regular council meeting, so 6 to 7 on March 13th.
Okay.
And then we'd have the final numbers, and it would be a more refined and fine-tuned budget, and that can actually have some discussion.
If there's any changes to that budget that's from before that meeting, can we get a revised budget before that
Yeah.
meeting? So
yeah,
that-
actually, what we'll send you, is, I think what we'll do tomorrow is there's some numbers that we're gonna change that are showing in our budget.
Mhm.
And we can send that to you guys, so you'll have it for a whole month to.
Yeah.
I'd like a hard copy if I could get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pick it up here.
Okay.
So this is junk now?
It will.
Well, it's a
yeah.
good reference
Yeah.
to know what we're thinking about, but yeah, the numbers are junk.
Just Just a
Can
question.
I get a hard copy as well when you print one out?
Yeah.
Larry?
Just another question. In our, in the package or the documents that are shared with us, do we have the shared copy of the budget?
It's in the last meeting package.
Okay, so
Oh,
it's
it's in
in the
this
last,
package too, actually. It is this package. I was just thumbing through it.
I couldn't see it in this one,
Oops,
this
wrong one.
year. I
Yeah,
should
there it
just
is,
go back.
11.3.
Oh, that's right. I did see it. Sorry, my bad.
So the reason for the numbers gonna be changing a little bit is now that Lois and I have done all the reserves and moved everything, now everything can go back into the right columns.
Right.
That's why the budget's never ready by December.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, contrary to popular belief. We can
and,
never
and the
have-
final audit will
We can
not,
be
Yeah.
clo- but
Yeah.
we can be close though.
Well, there's so many numbers that we don't know, in
Mhm.
December, because you're waiting on all these,
we're still getting them, yeah.
like all these other boards, right? Nobody had, because we're still waiting for WRCs and so just can't. Okay,
So I'll have a real-time version that comes on the Google Drive for everybody, but we'll print out a hard copy when there's significant changes, and we'll just email you know that it's here to pick up.
all right.
Yeah.
Counselors,
So yeah, so March 13th, 6
you want
o'clock.
a motion?
I think we should.
Yeah, it's a good.
I'll move.
regular.
All in favor?
What's the motion?
March 13th, 6 PM.
To
Budget.
start
Oh,
the
okay.
special meeting,
Yeah.
or do we want to have a special meeting and then go into
No,
a
I think
regular
let's
meeting, or
just,
just start?
let's just start and see how far. we
Because
get.
now if we start a meeting, we're going to be starting early.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because our agendas lately have been not bad, so we might be able to go 2 hours on the budget to begin with.
okay.
If our budget, if our agenda looks like the last 2 meetings have been. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because we're discussing the motion, I'm okay with it. As long as, for example, I don't want it to where our regular meeting gets compressed to where we, if something is important that comes up, that we don't compress it.
Mhm.
But we do have it in our thing that if we hit that
11.
end, that we
Yeah.
adjourn and then we have to call another
Yeah.
meeting to finish
Yeah.
other business that we didn't.
Yeah, and we
Okay.
can do that.
So I'm hearing that we're not having a motion because we're not calling a special meeting. We're just doing budget conversation in the regular meeting.
No, we're gonna be starting at 6.
So we're moving the regular council meeting to 6 o'clock.
Yes.
So then, that's what I'm saying, it's going to be on YouTube.
No, I think what he's talking about is starting a meeting at 6, that is a budget meeting only.
Yes.
Correct,
that
And
is
then
what
at 7, if it's not finished, we stop and we go into the council meeting.
correct.
And then when the council meeting's over, we go back into the other meeting. That's what you were saying.
That's my intention, yeah.
So
That's what we should be doing.
That's a.
So we're gonna have a,
Mhm.
we're having a motion to have a special budget meeting
yeah,
at
Yes.
6 PM.
Yes.
yes. Okay. And then we'll go
That's
to
a good
the,
idea.
we'll,
Because if it gets too late, we can make a motion to make another special meeting to finish budget, right?
Okay, so Martin Gauthier moved to have a special budget meeting at 6 PM on March 13th, 2024. Sorry, March 13th, 2024.
Yeah.
All in favor? Carry. Counselors' concerns, Richard,
No, I'm good, thank you.
Adam,
None that come to mind.
Larry,
I have one little concern.
Mhm.
On Christian Avenue, right at the end of First Street, on the south side of the road, it's where the memory lane has the thing with the lights on it. There's a culvert just off the side of the road that is bent up and looks like it could be dangerous if somebody can get hurt on it. I think Brian needs to go look at that.
On the south side of
On
Christian.
the south side of Christian Avenue. He'll see it. It's quite,
Side of Christians.
Yeah,
it's
it's
it's a big chunk of metal sticking up in the air.
send
So
it back down, pipe wrench or whatever.
it looks like it's been hit by a car or something.
Mike, any counselor concerns?
Not so far.
You haven't been here long enough to be concerned.
I'll keep you apprised.
I do have one. So down here, the cement by the spare lot, the top's lifting off it.
It was lifting off this spring and summer.
The
Yeah.
spare lot. Oh, like the
Like
triangle?
The triangle there.
Yeah.
The
The
top
new
coat
cement.
is, yeah, the new cement.
So this, is that, do we own that? I thought that was,
No,
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 we own it.
we own.
Yeah, that was this fall that I noticed that when we were.
I would
just
say
always
it's
said-
caused by all the parking that's being taken place there.
no, yeah. Could be salt coming off of vehicles running down onto it, who knows?
Right,
No,
yeah.
But I tell you what, yeah, don't use Siftal salt.
Mhm.
Okay, I got nothing else.
I just that brought something to my attention. The arena has been doing a lot of renting. There's a lot of activity there,
Mhm.
and I noticed people park too close. They're encroaching on the road that comes off of Broadway down to here. They encroach on that, and they're also encroaching right over to the where you enter the H64. Like you have to be really careful driving around there. They're right up tight. I don't know if you want to do anything about that.
I don't know if there's anything we can do.
It's on weekends, fortunately, so.
Well, the thing is,
But-
we don't police that, right?
Okay, I just thought I'd ask.
Would it be, yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but that's. We're not gonna send an employee out there to try to have somebody move. That would be SMP.
mhm.
I just thought I'd bring that to your attention. If it's not a
Yeah.
problem, then it's not a problem.
Well, it is a problem, but I don't know how we deal with it.
Do we have a parking bylaw? And then would you have a bylaw officer that can issue tickets? Just question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
no, it's very,
question.
very good question, but
Yeah.
basically the answer is
Other
no.
municipalities.
We do have bylaws, but can we have somebody enforce it? No,
Oh, like not
we
like,
have nothing but issues.
but we have, like, people can phone and get bylaws enforced, right?
You can call the RCMP.
You can try.
It's an
We've
ongoing
been,
issue.
it's been an ongoing issue since, I think, since day one that I've been on council. It's just. There's just,
We don't have a bylaw enforcement, like.
We do, but it never,
it's the county.
nothing happens.
Nothing
with it.
ever seems to happen. And you can call them in here, they come in here once a year and have a meeting with us. And really, it's kind of a waste of a half an hour.
Who enforces bylaw like in Strathmore?
Strathmore has their own bylaw
Yeah.
officers, that's paid by the town.
And then who does it in Wheeland County?
County has
The county.
paid bylaw officers.
And do we have a contract with any of them?
Yeah,
We got an agreement.
we got an
with the county-
agreement.
With who?
With the
Which one?
county bylaw officer,
So on
With
the,
Chris Berman.
With the officer or with
with
the
the
county?
county.
With the county.
Agreement with county.
Go ahead, Jen.
is it just a little history with the parking enforcement? Is bylaw and RCMP will enforce it, but they'll enforce it blanket wide. So if we call for like the parking and the hockey weekends, then they'll enforce whatever our parking bylaw is or whatever bylaws are being broken or laws being broken, but it's blanket wide. So in the past, when we've called them to come and checks one or two things out, if it's like a truck parked the wrong way or a very large truck that is not part of our bylaw, doesn't fit in our bylaw, it would now because we've updated the bylaw. But their warning to us was if we get this guy who's causing an inconvenience, we have to go and tag every single person who is not compliant with. the
Yeah, and I
bylaw.
don't see the problem with that.
Well,
With the
so
bylaw
that's
officer, that'd be
where,
the bylaw officer, that's not the RCMP though.
that would be the bylaw officer, but the RCMP, to a degree, they were out here last summer with a complaint, and they were about the same, that if someone who has a complaint about one person and they're gonna ticket this one person for a parking job, then they have to look at everybody, and they have to decide if it's worth it. It's their discretion.
That's the
So-
thing, that you just said it, they
their
have to decide if
discretion.
it's worth it for them to write a ticket. Because, and he sat here in the meeting and said to us. If
The
I write
bylaw
a
officer or
ticket,
the RCMP?
no, the bylaw
Bylaw
officer,
officer, yeah.
RCMP doesn't.
They
do
don't
parking.
usually do municipal bylaws.
No, not parking.
No,
So
RCMP don't know.
county peace officer sat here and said, well, if I write him a ticket, he might have to go to court and then I would have to go to court. Well, you get paid to do that.
That's his job, isn't it?
That's his job.
Yeah.
We have, for instance, the guy in front of the post field or beside the post office. This has been ongoing and they will not write him a ticket. They won't write him a ticket
That's
because
the,
he might go to court.
this is the Wheatland County guy.
Yeah.
What about doing an agreement, like scratch that agreement then, fire those guys and do an agreement with Strathmore or Drum or find another bylaw officer?
Well, a little history, Hazard did that with
Yeah.
County of Newell
Yeah,
and it didn't work
okay.
because they're so much further away and they were charging them way more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What about a contractor? Like, what if we worked with Roxford and Hazard to get a contractor to do bylaw?
We could investigate it.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt nothing to look into, but it's just, I find this bylaw is just
I
there to
think
collect a paycheck and don't want to do any work. When you come and set up a speed trap in a town and you see them pull in and you walk over and talk to them and say, what are you guys up to? Oh, we're looking for speeders. 7 minutes. They sat there and then they left.
Oh, wow.
How many vehicles are gonna drive through this town in 7 minutes? Like, what a waste of fuel to come out here and sit there for 7 minutes and do nothing.
Yeah.
unless they were called away to something more important.
I don't think so.
We don't know.
Do we have to
That'd be
pay,
fine.
do we have to pay for this agreement with the county?
That's the reason
That's
why
the
we do
problem.
it. We pay zero taxes to
Anyway.
do this.
So we get,
This
We
is,
get free.
we get what we pay for.
you can tell this is a sore spot with me, so,
Yeah, that's an interesting
yeah.
conversation.
All right, well, we will move along. No other counselors concerned, so, all right. Get Jen to shut off recording.
Oh, so yeah, just let
We
me
need the
know.
motion first and then we
Motion
can
to
shut
go on
off.
camera, okay,
To go into closed session.
closed session.
It's on your agenda, the motion. Someone can make.
Okay, maybe you want to read that?
I move to close session under FOIP Division 2 exception to disclosure, section 27, privileged information at
8:56.
8:56.
All in favor? Carried. camera.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
Okay, Mike, go ahead.
I move to have, to direct staff to have legal draft letter to resident in tax arrears advising them of their obligations.
All in favor? Carried.
First one.
There you go.
You made another
Yeah.
motion this meeting.
Oh, I did too.
A friendly motion.
The second one, yeah.
So that's a big boy motion.
That's the big one.
Okay,
All right, well, 9:08. Somebody want to move to adjourn?
I so move that we
Thank you.
adjourn. the meeting.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mike, what do you do?